To order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good morning. Considerations of agenda items. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Hearing none, I move to approve.
Second.
Sheila, was there an addition? I have something here that maybe was an addition from Julie Erickson in front of me. Is that something you wanted to add?
Yes, I have an addition. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure who was who was responsible for doing that. But I do have
Somebody, please.
I have an addition to the agenda. It's for the 2020 Prime West targeted case management rates. It's an amendment to a contract that we have, an ongoing contract that we have with them.
Mr. Chair, I'll retract my initial motion and move to approve with the addition.
And I'll approve with the second on the addition to the agenda.
Right, we'll add that under county administration. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. Is there second by Commissioner Polmeyer? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I move the payment of the bills.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Payment of the bills in the amount of $27,871.66. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Environmental Services, Sheila, was Mark coming, or is he delayed with the weather, or do you know?
No, he is, I'm sorry, we need to, I made an error. We need to remove the environmental services item for the memorandum of agreement because the Sibley County and Bowser attorney are still working out some of the items from item A on their agenda item.
Do you know when we'll hear that item? Do you have a targeted date?
The attorney had asked for us to have it on this agenda and asked for us to remove it last night. So I would assume that we will have it on the next agenda.
Okay, so since we didn't remove it in the beginning, is there a motion to table this to the next one? Motion by Commissioner Wright.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public Works. Good morning, Al.
First item is I would like to purchase some playground equipment. We do have it on the 2019 budget. The reason we waited till the end of the year is the playground equipment companies give us discounts because they want to get rid of some of their products. We're looking at a couple of swing sets that need to be replaced, one at Petenburg and one at Stalls Lake, and then some slide, one section to slide, and a couple of spring animals. This just kind of bits and pieces are where we need some parts to be at, some playground stuff to be at. It'll be steel product with fiberglass and plastic. They do not, it says redwood on here, that's just the color.
Okay.
All the products will be steel.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is there, we've talked about this in our workshop, so it's not, I'm not surprised by it, but is this installed? I mean, does our old bases where it goes, nowadays you gotta have rubber or
No.
chipped it, all that stuff, is that included in here?
No.
Is that gonna be, is that stuff that has to be done in the
Yeah,
future?
we just have to dig out about 6 to 8 inches of topsoil, and then we fill that with certified playground chips.
Okay, and that's gonna be done in-house, or you guys?
Yeah, we'll do that ourselves.
Very good. With that, I'll move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is an agreement between the City of Lester Prairie and McLeod County. This is something we've been working on a long time. It's a very simple agreement. Basically, City of Lester Prairie is, as the agreement says, they will be handling the day-to-day problems or activities for the Dakota Trail in Lester Prairie to the Carver County line. They will also be, if a group wants to use the trail, say I myself want to bring in 30 bicycles, I have to go through City of Lester Prairie to lease that facility or whatever. So it's a very simple agreement. Long-term things, upkeep of the trail itself, the tarring and crack filling, that will be something McLeod County will be in charge of.
All right, any questions for Al?
Mr. Chair, I do have, that I was not familiar with. I don't understand it. If you bring in 30, what do you mean by that? You just can't, if somebody's coming across the trails with 30 bikes, you're supposed to.
It'll be like if we wanted to use that shelter in that downtown city
Very
park,
good.
I should have said that. That way we're not going to have any problems double booking.
Sure. No,
But if somebody just wanted to ride through, it's fine.
I wasn't clear on
Yep, sorry
how that
about
worked.
that.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Al, do we have any estimate of what the county's obligation might be as for annual maintenance on the trail going forward? Are we looking at, I read the agreement as, basically cutting back some trees and things like that with
Yeah,
service
if
to
they have
service.
some dead trees along this one area, we have agreed to help them out with that. Other than that, for that 2 miles, they're going to handle the day-to-day, the garbage, the mowing, hopefully. I think they're handling the spraying too. So basically, at some point in time, I would think Mr. Brunkhorst would look at if we're going to do some crack filling or, just like you do on a road project. There's a lot of, like we've talked about before, maintenance. You can have prices from $500 a year to, I went to a meeting where they said, if you don't do anything for 15 years and then you got to replace it or 10 years or whatever, then you're going to be paying a lot of money. Or you could do, like I think John does now with the roads,
Okay.
crack fills and things like that as it goes.
Okay. How does is there toilet facilities along the trail? Is there mini biffs placed, or whose
They're-
responsibility is
They're
that?
providing, that was one of the things we had to work on, they're providing the mini biff in their central park.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
There's only, between that, it's a 2-mile trail, it shouldn't be a problem.
All right. Very good.
Okay?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Then back to that mini biff will take care of that shelter then too? I mean, there's kind of a you gotta have.
Yep, it'll have to, I would think they would follow the ADA requirements that they have to be handicapped.
It'll serve a double purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they make the decision when to bring it in and when to take it out.
Very good.
All right, any other questions for Al?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
now that it's snowing, what are the snowmobile regulations on this portion of the trail?
They can go through the city of Lester Prairie, east to County Road 9, and then they have to divert off. The Snowmobile Club has a separate trail off of that. They are working with Carver County to try to get a section of that Carver County line, I don't remember how far, to be able to handle snowmobiles, but at this time, that hasn't happened.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that
Yep.
information, Al.
All right, anything else? I don't believe we have a motion, do we?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the contract with the City of Lester Prairie for maintenance.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
One last item that's not on the agenda, I just found out the other day, we did not receive the legacy grant for the second stage of the Dakota Trail. They will be sending us a letter telling us exactly what the reasons were, but the two main reasons were the main reason we weren't rated high enough with the point system, and the two reasons was, the first one, we didn't have any money in kind, and the second one, we didn't have any tar going down on the project. So them are the two big point systems. So when I do get that letter from Greater Minnesota, I will get it to all the 5 commissioners.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
have
you
a
for the
nice New
update.
Year's.
Hi, John.
Hello. Item C, we would like you to consider purchase of a set of sterile Coney, that's the brand name, portable lifts from Midwest Lift Works out of Jordan, Minnesota. Cost for these lifts are $45,084. It's a state contract price. Money would come out of our equipment maintenance budget. These portable lifts, so right now at Hat's facility, there's 2 permanent lifts that were installed with the building since the inception of it. One's a lighter set, or one, not a set, but one's a lighter in-ground permanent one for lighter vehicles, and then there's the main larger hoist that'll do tandem trucks and so forth. MnDOT currently has purchased a set of these a number of years back, and they've been using them. With us bringing on Eric now as another full-time mechanic, the lifts are getting to be a premium there. More repairs, more work around there. Anytime the guys do cutting-edge changes, anytime they're underneath the trucks, get them off the ground is the best way in what they do. So MnDOT was without a mechanic for a period here, and Brian and Eric were utilizing these hoists. They work well, and that's what we'd like to get a set for the county.
So we don't own one at all right now?
Correct. We just have the permanent one, that's the permanent in-ground ones that are shared with the facility.
Okay.
We've utilized MnDOT's off and on, but when they need it, of course, they take it back. And after a weekend like this, there'll be a line 10 long to use the hoist for maintenance and so forth. So it's something Brian and them have been looking at for a while, I think, and it fits right now in the budget. The timing seems odd with last year. We're not just trying to burn money and spend money. The guys have been looking at this for a while, but there is money in our budget, so and it's a state contract price.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
do they look like the picture
Pretty much,
that you
yep.
put on?
Yeah,
Because-
it's only 4, it's not 6. The picture shows 6, it would just be 4. And then there's one more addition that's on the quote, that is a bar that you put on the hoist, and that allows them to lift the trucks with the plow equipment on, with the wing on, and with the, primarily the wing.
Oh, really? These are strong enough to lift the trucks with the plows on it?
And fully loaded too, for that matter.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're, now you said only 4. How do they do that on a tandem? Doesn't one tandem, or can you still lift the whole truck with 4?
They lift the back or the front tandem, I can't remember.
Okay.
But
But
it's,
these-
yeah, 4 will be adequate to lift our tandems.
These you could actually, I mean, it shows the truck in the air on the pictures that you have here in the agenda, but you can actually use these to just pull off the wheels too, if you want to pull just the duals and stuff on the way the picture looks to me, but
Yeah, but
you don't have to lift the whole truck. What I'm trying to say is if they want to pull tandems off and do brakes or bearings, you can use that. You could do that just to remove the wheels too, the way the picture shows to me, but.
Yeah, I've seen them doing that with the
Yeah.
MnDOT hoist.
Okay, very good. I had some questions on it, and I think all the questions that I had are answered. So you can actually, at the end of the day, if you wanted to move this to Glencoe, or you could load these hoists up and move, you're not limited just to the one building.
No, you could move them
You
around.
could
I
move
mean,
them if you really needed to.
We don't envision moving them very
Right.
often, but yeah, we could if we had to. And they're wireless now. The older initial ones came with cords, when you get tripping hazards and stuff. These are all wireless, and they work well, the guys say.
Is that something that triggers an annual inspection or anything just to make sure they're functional, or is that just done in-house by our mechanics?
They might. We have, I don't know if we inspect the in-ground hoisted hats or we hire a company to come in and do that, but I'm not sure if these have to be inspected. I would assume they would be. But they certainly,
Just for safety reasons?
I mean, in-house, the guys certainly inspect them and everything. And OSHA rules, I'm sure, apply to a lot of it.
Ron, do you have something?
Yes, Mr. Chair. John, these are 4 independent units, but are they synchronized so that they all lift equally, or do you have to have 4 operators to?
No, they're all synchronized. They talk to each other, and there's a remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're lifting 72 inches, they're all going up at the same rate?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I've never used them personally, but
Okay.
yeah.
We'll trust that they know how to make those machines.
Yeah, no, that's when we've seen them I've seen them at demos at the fall expos and stuff. there's different models out there, and they're demoing them, and yeah, they sync. They're not four guys on a post doing them equally, and
Okay.
they talk and synchronize.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
John, do we have a designated bay that this one would be in at the Hats Building, or is there going to be more confusion with working with the space to house this lift?
We have a dedicated bay. We'd like to move around, and that's the beauty of this too. You know, we have one mechanic's bay, if you will. It doesn't have a hoist in it. The hoists are up
Okay.
toward the front of the building. So these could sit there, but then they could also move around to our other stalls where our area is and so forth.
Okay, very good.
All right. All your questions answered?
Need a motion?
I do.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the purchase of the Sterile Coney portable lift system for Midwest Lift Works.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item D is another detour agreement with MnDOT. This one is detour agreement 1035949 and corresponding resolution 19 CB 61. This is to use our county stated highway 1. They want to use 3.5 miles of County Road 1 from 212 down to the county line. This is for work that District 7 has planned on Trunk Highway 5 in 2020. The cost of this agreement, the maximum obligation for MnDOT is $20,000. It's the same standard agreement that we've done over the years with MnDOT for these types of use of our roads.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
John, in reviewing the packet, and I looked at the contract, and their estimated usage is less than $20,000, but will they monitor traffic to get a traffic count so they know what they owe us, or?
We use the standard maps, and I look at that too and make sure it's, it seems like the right number, and this one does, so.
Okay.
If it gets to be an extreme amount, I guess we'll go out and do some counts on it, but the odds are that number is fine.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And the estimated duration that they show is 133 days, so it's not it won't be the full summer.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you, John.
Tomorrow.
Hello, Connie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today I'm here, item A is to consider the approval to appoint 2 county commissioners to serve as members of the County Canvassing Board. These should be 2 commissioners who are not on the ballot, so disqualified would be Commissioner Polmeyer and Commissioner Wright. And with the announcement of the decision not to run for election, probably not Commissioner Szymanski. And so my recommendation to the board for the canvassing board would be Commissioner Nagel and Commissioner Kruger.
Doesn't sound like we have much of a choice.
Well, you're the winners.
You're nominated.
All right.
We will be requiring a motion for that, Connie.
Yeah.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Wright to place Commissioner Kruger and myself on the 2020 canvassing board with the dates of March 6th, August 14th, and November 10th, correct?
Perfect.
Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and I'm going to have Janet do item B.
We received an application for Northern Lighter Pyrotechnics of Wyoming, Minnesota to test fireworks on January 11th, 2020 from 4 to 9 p.m. I do want to note in the packet, the map that was provided was an old incorrect one, so it is on Mike McLeod's property, so I do have the new GIS printout if you would like one. Otherwise, okay. And then, so I'm looking for a motion to approve issuing a permit for the outdoor fireworks on January 11th, 2020 from 4 to 9 p.m. for Northern Lighter Pyrotechnics, Inc. in Wyoming, Minnesota at the location of 22232 Garden Avenue in Silver Lake.
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of the fireworks permit.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Smansky, second by Commissioner Kruger. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I was going to ask a question first, but that's fine. I've never heard of them testing fireworks. I mean, is that something we do before? I've never seen,
They've been doing it ever since I've been with the county. They
Really?
did not do it last year due to scheduling conflicts, and the year before, they did have it scheduled, but it happened to be during that extreme cold spell where they did not find it feasible to go out there and test. So since I've been with the county in 16, they have been testing.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This has been going on for several years.
Before me, my time.
We've, I don't know, I do believe that years ago, we even looked at this at the Planning and Zoning Committee, and we found no problems
Do
with
you ever
it.
get any, excuse me, do you ever get any complaints?
No, I do send out a letter to everybody. I think within our ordinance, it's within 500 feet, but we actually go out like a half mile, 3/4 of a mile, so people know what's coming. Most of them, I usually receive back that they're temporarily away, so.
Mr. Chair, I mean, it's in January, obviously, so you get a free, is there a light show with, I mean, is that like regular?
It's not open to the public, so it's just for their testing purposes.
Really?
Yeah, but you can see it from a distance.
Yeah, you can see it from a distance, so I'm
Thank
sure
you.
people are aware of the date.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, item C is to consider approval to amend Resolution 10 CB 26 and approve Resolution 19 CB 60 to hereby establish an absentee ballot board with the authority granted by Minnesota Statute 203B.121 and hereby established for all elections. So we have had, by statute, an absentee ballot board in the past. In the past, it's only consisted of the Auditor Treasurer Office, but with the reduced staff, it would be more beneficial to our office to also include the Recorder and Administration offices. And with that said, it would be primary members of the Recorder's office with only secondary members of administration, since for them there would be a drive involved. This is a daily task required by statute to review, accept, or reject ballots.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Connie, the absentee ballot board, do we have to name specific individuals, or can we name office positions that
It's
are
not
on this
requ-
ballot board?
It's not required to name specific names.
Okay, all right. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the amendment of Resolution 10 CB 26. And can we take the two resolutions together, or should we do them independently?
It's always been told to me it's safer to take them one at a time, so.
All right. So I,
10 CB 26.
10 CB 26.
Motion by Commissioner Smansky. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ron?
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of Resolution 19 CB 60 to establish an absentee ballot board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, so then my final item D is to consider approval of Resolution 19 CB 57 to establish a special revenue fund 25.143 and transfer the Deputy Registrar reimbursement grant funds in the amount of $49,001.78 to the said account to be available for future license center needs as authorized by the McLeod County Auditor, Treasurer, and Deputy Registrar. So back in June, I was here, and you had approved that grant. The grant was deposited into a License Bureau General Revenue account, and the grant, as received, should be designated and available for future license center needs as authorized by the McLeod County Auditor, Treasurer, and Deputy Registrar. It's one of those things where I don't know what we're going to need in the future, and since this was unplanned revenue, I feel it should be available for, I don't know what may be mandated in the future for the motor vehicle department.
Very good. Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Connie, This Deputy Registrar reimbursement grant, is that funds that came to us because of the difficulty in working with the McLeod system over the past couple of years, and that's kind of their makeup to the counties for all the extra time that our staff put into the whole process.
Yes, that's exactly what it's for. And as you know, we're going to have a new one of those programs coming up, so.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chair, I'll move the approval of Resolution 19 CB 57 for a special revenue fund for the Deputy Registrar reimbursement grant funds.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski, second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a great New Year's.
Yep, happy New Year. All right, before we go into county administration, we'll have a 5-minute recess. Thank you. For our calendars, Rich?
Okay, since our last meeting, we had our workshop after the board meeting, had our Health and Human Service meeting, and also had a County Ditch 63 and 64 project meeting on the 20th. Was able to spend time with my family over Christmas, and kind of brings me right up to today. I was lucky enough to do some fun wrestling officiating up in Fargo, hit one of the big national tournaments, and made it home safely. So that brings me right to today.
On the early side, some similarities with Rich on the workshop, meeting in Health and Human Services, and also the meeting with ditches 63 and 64, which was laying the groundwork for some culvert replacement, some engineering to be done, a removal of trees. And Joe and I met with members at the animal shelter to work on some issues with them, and also spent the day with County Attorney Mike Young on a mediation issue with judicial ditch number 4.
Similar meetings, Health and Human Services, some union negotiations, Trailblazer, 63 and 64. And I worked on Christmas. Ron?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. We had the Health and Human Services meeting after our last county board meeting, and that was on the 17th. On the 18th, I had McLeod Treatment Program board meeting. We are seeing one of our board members retire. She's reached her term limits. Thank you to Gloria Hilgers for serving on the McLeod Treatment Program board for all these years. And welcome the new board member with Patrick Chapman from Hutchinson. Also on the 18th, we had negotiations with one of our bargaining units in the afternoon. On the 19th in the evening, we had an executive and finance board meeting for the Pioneer Land Library up in Wilmer. And then on the 20th, we had the ditch meetings for CD 63 and 64. And then on Monday, the 23rd, we also had some negotiations going on with another one of our bargaining units. And we have good feeling. Our negotiating team, led by our administrative staff, is doing very well on bringing our negotiations into near settlements. So thank you for that.
Doug?
Pretty much everything has been covered by some of the previous commissioners. I did have the workshop after board last meeting, the social services board meeting. I did have an HRA meeting where we received a retirement, or actually a move from one of our commissioners there that it's out of Commissioner Nagel's district, and we'll need a reappointment there. I had on the 19th, I had Trailblazer in Buffalo. Also that afternoon on the 19th, we had our Glencoe Transportation PMT. It's the study for the routes around Glencoe. We kind of tweaked them up a little bit to get out to the public for public information. And then I also had attended the ditch meeting on 63 and 64. Brings us to today.
Sheila, anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to add that I submitted the elected official salary as a closed meeting item in error on our last agenda. which resulted in the item being removed. We will review those salaries as our third administration item today.
Okay, yeah, and that's, was a topic that got brought up, and I think we did that, we handled that correctly. As a board, we wanted to make sure that was transparent, and we pulled that item and rescheduled it for today. So if anybody had any questions about that, that was the reason for that. All right, moving on to item A, consideration of approval of Resolution 19 CB 58, establishing 2020 salaries and per diem mileage reimbursement rates for McLeod County Commissioners. Any questions or discussion regarding that?
Mr. Chair, just to comment on how we set these salaries. From the Budget Committee, we approached the increases on all electeds no differently than the rest of the county employees with the same increase for the year.
All right. With that, I'll move to approve Resolution 19 CB 58. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B is consideration of approval of Resolution 19 CB 59, establishing 2020 per diem and mileage reimbursement rates for McLeod County committee members. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chair, just to comment on how we set the mileage reimbursement. This is significantly lower than what is considered to be the IRS rate. We get to our mileage number by the approximate cost of what it costs to run our own automotive fleet around. And so we made that adjustment several years ago as a cost savings to the county and also to help encourage the use of our own vehicles. And so that is just a little bit of a clarification as to why that number is a lot less than probably most everybody else receives.
Very good. Anything else?
Mr. Chair, I move the adoption of Resolution 19 CB 59.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Paul, don't let me put words in your mouth, Paul or Doug from the Budget Committee, but as I go through this, this is similar to what you said about this is in line with the rest of the, as we set the elected officials' salaries.
Yep.
It's in line with the rest of the employees,
Yes.
correct?
Yep. Same increase.
All right,
schedules.
so forgive me, I have to read all of these as and their wages. So here we go. First one is the county attorney. Consider setting the 2020 salary pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 388.18 for McLeod County Attorney Michael Young in the amount of $121,569 based upon the responsibilities and duties of the office and taking into account the experience, qualifications, and performance of the incumbent. Is there any questions or discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion?
I think that's my salary this year.
Okay.
And if that's what your intention is.
The intention was, all right. Let's take a pause then and make sure we have those numbers right, because we need to make sure that's going on. We were double checking those numbers.
Mr. Chair, it's important that we have the proper numbers for today. So let's just have a 10-minute recess and let's make sure that we have this in order. There has been a little bit of confusion getting this in line, and so it's important that we do this. So I'm going to make a motion for a 10-minute recess to review.
Yep, that
I would
sounds
agree
good.
in second.
Very good. Thank you for your patience. I think we've got the corrections, and everything is rectified.
Yep.
There is a motion on the floor, but I think we should, if everybody's okay with that, I'd like to recommend pulling that. Is that okay with the people that made that?
Yes,
Paul?
I made the motion. I would like to have that pulled.
Is that okay with the second?
It is.
Okay. All right. So we'll start over here a little bit, and we're back to consideration of the 2020 salary pursuant to state statute 3818, County Attorney Michael Young in the amount of $126,237 based upon his responsibilities and duties, taking into account his experience, qualifications, and performance of the incumbent. Any questions or concerns?
Mr. Chair, before I make that motion, I just want to comment that, yeah, we did take a break, and we corrected an error. You know what, we're only human. And the important thing is that we took the time to make sure that this is right, and now we can move forward. And so I will make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next is consideration setting the 2020 salary pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 384-151, the Auditor Treasurer Connie Kurtzwig in the amount of $87,975 based upon the responsibilities and duties of the office and taking into account the experience, qualifications, and performance of the incumbent. Any questions or discussion?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Polmeyer, second by Commissioner Szymanski. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is consideration of setting the 2020 salary pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 387.20 for County Sheriff Scott Raymond in the amount of $96,330 based upon the responsibility and duties of the office and taking into account the experience, qualifications, and the performance in the incumbent. Any questions?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Szymanski, second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration setting the 2020 salary pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 386.015 for County Recorder Lynette Schrupp in the amount of $82,392 based upon the responsibilities and duties of the office and taking into account experience and qualifications and performance of the incumbent. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right. All right, we're at item D. Sheila?
Item D, notification of McLeod County Workshop to be held on January 7, 2020, following the county board meeting at the Glencoe City Center. Item E, notification of cancellation of regularly scheduled McLeod County Workshop to be held December 31, 2019, today, following the county board meeting due to lack of new agenda topics. Item F was added by Health and Human Services.
Hello, Judy.
Good morning.
No.
Oh, can't hear you.
No?
Yep.
Okay. This addition is an amendment to the ongoing behavioral health participation agreement that McLeod County Health and Human Services has with Prime West Health. Prime West pays us a rate to do targeted case management. We provide these services to Prime West members. The payments are made for months in which Prime West members receive targeted case management services from the county. The rate's calculated and adjusted annually, which requires an annual amendment to the agreement. The rates come from DHS. DHS sets annual rates for targeted case management. These services are required in state and federal law. And then Prime West uses the rates that DHS has set as the basis for the rates that they set. They're a little bit higher than the DHS rates.
Mike, anything to add about this?
No.
Okay. All right, any questions?
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of the amendment to the agreement with Prime West Health for case management services.
Motion by Commissioner Szymanski, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for waiting around.
Yes, and thank you so much. I've learned a lot this year with the process of contracting, so hopefully next year, everything will go a little bit more smoothly and we won't have these last-minute additions. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Open forum or press relations? All right, Happy New Year, Jacob. All right. I'm looking for a motion to recess till our next board meeting, January 7th, a week from today, 9 a.m., Glencoe City Center.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger, second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everyone.